Thank you, Madam Speaker. President Obama's sequester is bad for America. There's no getting around it. Good programs are going to be cut, good people are going to be furloughed, and bad leadership from President Obama is to blame. In the last 4 years, almost every important budget deadline has been met with impasse, and little has been done to enact a responsible budget. Systematic failure to perform the basic responsibilities of governing has led us to the catastrophic sequestration we see today. President Obama came up with this idea for the sequester as a temporary solution to another fiscal crisis in 2011. As we've been saying for months, House Republicans are the only ones who have taken action to balance the budget. Last Congress, the House passed two bills, the Sequester Replacement and Reconciliation Act and the Spending Reduction Act. However, in recent remarks at the White House, President Obama attempted to blame House Republicans who control only 1/2 of 1/3 of the government for the looming cuts. If there's going to be a solution, President Obama is going to have to work with his own political party in the Senate and negotiate with the House. Yet all the President has done so far is call for higher taxes again. He got his higher taxes, $600 billion from higher earners, with no corresponding spending cuts at the end of 2012. It seems he will not stop until every single American has to hand over more of their hard-earned money to the federal government, which I might add has a bad track record of spending it. There is no denying that the government spends too much, but these blind cuts are irresponsible and will have a disastrous effect on our military. Yesterday, the Joint Chiefs of Staff testified at a hearing that our national security will be put at risk if they are forced to make deep reductions in spending for manpower, training, and equipment modernization programs. There is no longer a debate between Congress and the White House to gain the upper hand. This is real, this is serious, and this is the time to take action. In fact, I sent a letter to the President this week urging him to act now to prevent the harmful fallout that the sequester will cause. I pray that he reads it. I also ask unanimous consent to submit that letter to the record.
Without objection.
Well, Friday does mark the sequester deadline. We have until March 27th to do the right thing on behalf of our men and women in uniform, as well as the hundreds of thousands of employees expected to be drastically impacted by the sequester. If the President continues his unwillingness to stop campaigning and start helping the American people who elected him to lead, then at the very best, we need to allow the Department of Defense and the Department of Veterans Affairs to operate under a budget rather than a continuing resolution. This would give them a greater flexibility and put them in the best possible position to absorb these across-the-board cuts. By letting the DoD and VA operate under a budget, these agencies can prevent permanent damages from the arbitrary sequester cuts. Madam Speaker, I represent Texas' 25th Congressional District, which includes a large portion of Fort Hood, one of the largest military installations in the world. The United States Army estimates $291 million in cuts for Fort Hood, including nearly 600 civilian jobs and nearly 30,000 jobs statewide. This is preventable, and quite frankly, it's totally unacceptable. We shouldn't have to move a third bill in the House before the Senate finally acts. It's time for President Obama to drop the politics and campaign speeches and do something, putting our public safety, national security, and economy at risk by letting the sequester pass without preventive action is reckless and destructive. Our troops, our businesses, and our families deserve better. Americans expect our President to lead. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.